A story in the New York Times allegedly exposing Joe Biden's unnerving incompetence. The article reports that Biden is prone to profane outbursts and impatiently cutting off important conversations with his advisors. Then there's his indecisiveness. Quote, on policy issues, Mr. Biden, 78, takes days or weeks to make up his mind as he examines and second guesses himself and others. It is a method of governing that can feel at odds with the urgency of a country still reeling from a pandemic and economy struggling to recover, end quote. Joining me now to react here, Mary Walter, host of Mary Walter Radio, and Mike Reagan, president of the Reagan Legacy Foundation. Hey, guys. Well, we kind of known about some of this stuff from Biden after all of his years on Capitol Hill, 4 decades. He's got a reputation of having some salty language. Michael, what do you think?
Well, I believe New York Times. I mean, he has been on Capitol Hill for, 50 plus years. You know, he's also old, so he's not grasping things as quickly as you would if you were 55 or 60 years old. And so it becomes frustrating to him because he probably doesn't understand 90% of what's going on, which is proven by what he is doing as president of the United States. I mean, it's taken him a little over 100 days to basically destroy what's good in America. He's got all kinds of problems reeling around him, doesn't know what to do because what's happening is he is so hateful of Donald Trump. It is clouding every decision he makes. And so if he would quit hating Donald Trump, he probably could do a lot better job. But because of his hate for Donald Trump, it clouds everything he does. And it's frustrating to him because he wants you to hate him as much as he does.
What about you, Mary? You want to take a swing at this?
Yeah, I think Michael's right. I think his hatred of Donald Trump really does cloud everything he does. But I also don't believe that he's necessarily making all of these decisions. I just don't. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just think there are other people behind the scenes that are pulling the strings. And I think that's part of Joe Biden's, maybe it's part of his frustration. And that's maybe why he has such a short fuse and why he lashes out. I also think he's operating in the old D.C., and in this era of social media, and he has the squad to deal with. It's a different place than it was 30 years ago, even 20 years ago. And I still think he's in that old D.C. as a very frustrated man.
If I could throw one more thing in, we all have kids. Sure. And my kids used to get frustrated having a babysitter around all the time. They couldn't get away with anything. They couldn't do anything. They were frustrated with the babysitter. You do not see Joe Biden without a babysitter. She is there 24 hours a day. And that's got to be frustrating that he's got to throw everything to his babysitter before he does anything. I mean, my kids used to go nuts. I'm sure your kids used to still go nuts if you have young kids. I'm sure President Biden never had a babysitter for 50 years until he became president of the United States. Now he's got one every single day, 24 hours a day.
It makes me wish he had like one of those parrots or something like that could actually learn. How many times do you think that the phrase "leave me the hell alone" is uttered in the White House these days by Mr. Biden? Okay, speaking of the crises we've all been making allusion to, the border issues continue to rage out of control. The Border Patrol agents call him "Let him go, Joe," and now they call themselves the Welcome Patrol, not the Border Patrol. Here's Mitt Romney tearing into DHS head Alejandro Mayorkas.
Do you recognize this as an alarming crisis?
Senator, I look at immigration as a challenge that has been persistent for many years.
Of course, but what I find astonishing, Mr. Chairman, is that we have the secretary responsible for securing our border and our immigration system who doesn't recognize these charts as being a problem. And there are human beings behind these numbers.
Wow. What I found troubling about that is Mr. Mayorkas, Michael, he calls it immigration. He doesn't know the difference between immigration, which is legal, and illegal immigration, which is not.
Yeah, but it's what they want. I mean, if you start at the point, this is exactly what the Biden administration wanted. They all raised up their hands, said what they would give if either one of them, any of them became president of the United States. This is what they want. So it's not a problem to them, because this is exactly what they want. These are the future, future workers of America. I tweeted out the other day, people don't go back to work because the government's paying them not to show up at work. don't be surprised to see your employer on the border hiring these people coming across to replace you at your business that you used to have yourself when you were working. This is exactly what the Biden administration wanted. They wanted these people in. They're going to be the future voters of America.
Yeah, and Mary, I'm not sure if you caught Ashley Hinson. She's a congresswoman from Iowa. She actually got the acting ICE director to admit, yeah, we're not tracking all these illegal aliens that we're releasing into the country. We're just releasing them, and we have no idea where they are. And I'm reminded, Mary, remember when Jake Carney got up there during the Obama era, and he goes, oh yeah, the illegal aliens, they all have a right to privacy. It looks like they've taken that and put it on steroids in Team Biden.
Yeah, they have a right to privacy, but we don't. I'm supposed to present my papers if I want to go to a grocery store in order to prove that I've been vaccinated from the pandemic, from a virus that with my age and my comorbidities, I have a 99.96% chance of surviving. But yet we'll put them on planes without being tested whatsoever. And some of them could have COVID. And we just say, you know, when you get where you're going, if you wouldn't mind staying in the house just for like 10 days, we'd really appreciate it. The thing about this that really struck me, though, we're at about 50,000 unaccompanied minors that have crossed the border, approximately. Those are the ones we know of. And their excuse was, during that hearing with Mitt Romney, Alexander Mayorkas said, well, we're reuniting them with their parents who are already in the country. And I'm saying to myself, well, wait a minute. If we had deported the parents, the family would be together. So I'm not quite sure why we're doing it this way. And of course, you nailed exactly why we're doing it this way, Michael. Yeah.
You know,
It's
the problem
insane.
is, Mary, you need a red armband when you go to the grocery store, just like they have red armbands to get across the border.
It's ridiculous. Wow. Maybe they could mark us in some way.
Or a Biden T-shirt. What if I had a Biden T-shirt? Could I get in without having to show my papers somewhere? Mike Reagan, Mary Walter, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.